but as someone who struggled with pornography addiction for over 2 decades, this is the most foolproof way that I have found to completely prevent any porn sites from being on your phone at all. Okay? Now, I get this is going to be a little extreme. And so if you're serious about really limiting what you have access to, then this is going to be some helpful settings for you. I'm going to show you how to do it on the iPhone, and I'm going to show you how to do it on an Android phone, how to completely eliminate any access to porn whatsoever on your phone. Now, I don't know anybody out there talking about this in terms of recovery from pornography addiction. Now, I see a lot of videos about how to do this and set this up for your kids and whatnot, and honestly, a lot of them go kind of soft on like, well, you know, we're gonna limit these kind of settings. We're gonna put like PG settings, PG-13. But if you've been struggling with pornography and you've been trying to get free for any amount of time, you know, A, you can get around any setting you want, other than this one. And B, any of the apps that people download to kind of monitor or whatever, you can lie about it. If they ask you about something, you can lie about it, and it's really easy to wiggle out of the restrictions that you've tried before. This one, I don't think you can. So for iPhone users, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna open up the Settings app on your iPhone, okay? In the Settings app, what you're gonna do is you're gonna scroll down to the Screen Time setting, okay? And when you get to Screen Time, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go down and set up content and privacy restrictions. Okay, you might have done this already, but you're gonna need somebody else to help you with this. Either Android and iPhone, you're gonna need somebody else to help you with this. So if you don't have like somebody who knows about this struggle, first of all, it's a really huge, valuable key to make sure that you're going free. You can't do this alone. Okay, you need somebody else to help you with this. And here's one of the ways that they're gonna be able to help you with this. Is when you go to set up the content and privacy restrictions, you're going to toggle that button on, and you're going to have to enter a screen time passcode. Okay, this is key, and this is where the success of this is going to ride or fall. Okay, it's going to live or die on this. Somebody else has to have the passcode, and you can't know it. Okay, somebody else has to have the passcode. So for my case, my wife has this passcode and I don't know what it is. So anytime that I need to access the content and privacy restrictions and maybe make a tweak or make an adjustment, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, she has to be right there and type in the passcode for me. Okay, this is a passcode that I don't know and she does know. Okay, so once you're in, there's two main settings. You can dial in a lot of these, but the two main that I want to focus on is first, you're going to go to the content restrictions. Okay, content restrictions, and you'll notice music, podcast, fitness, music, movies, TV, books, apps, web app clips, that kind of stuff. You know, definitely make those appropriate. Don't allow everything. Don't allow the explicit stuff. But the key one is you're going to go down to web content, and you'll see right now I have it as limit adult websites, and that's where a lot of people tend to put it. I always say, when you go to that setting, limit adult websites, you want to switch from limiting adult websites to the setting which says allowed websites. And what that means is the only websites that are allowed at all for any app on your phone to access are the ones that you specifically give permission for. So you'll see right here, obviously it's like only allow these websites, and there's some basic ones, Apple, CB's, Disney's, How Stuff Works, whatever, and the Bible app. And so what you're going to do is only allow them, and then as you scroll down, you'll be able to add a new website in there. Okay, and so you're going to hit add website, and so for me, I've just picked one that would be an obvious one, but the Bible app. So or Bible Gateway, I'm sorry. So go to BibleGateway.com. That's one I use a lot, and so you're going to want to make sure if there's a website that you need access to, go for it. Now, over the course of time, you're going to need to access a lot of websites. There's a lot of good websites on the internet, and that's okay. You can access them. Here's the catch. this makes it really inconvenient, and you have to check in with the accountability partner. So say, your professor, say you're a student at school, and your professor says, hey, we're gonna need to sign into this account or whatever. You're gonna need to be like, all right, so-and-so accountability partner for me, my wife, hey, can I access this website? Can you type in the passcode so I can access this website? Now that website is already added in as an allowed website. Early on, let me just say this. Early on in the process, this is going to be very inconvenient. It's going to suck until you develop a repertoire of websites that you basically, these are the ones I use more often than not. These are all safe websites, whatever. And so when you're developing that repertoire, it's going to be really hard at first and inconvenient. This is why I say if you're really serious about it. You can go the easy way, but then stuff is allowed that shouldn't be allowed. Okay? This is for people who are absolutely serious about quitting or at least completely restricting porn from their phone. So as many websites as you can think of right now, add those websites while this setting is still unlocked. And then the next thing that I'm going to go down to is Siri and just the web search content, the explicit language, all those kinds of things. Those settings, like I said, finish those out, set those to something that you know is going to be safe for you to use your phone within, okay? Finally, after going through content restrictions, you're going to go back and you're going to go to iTunes and App Store purchases. You can also do this with the allowed apps. There's settings for that too, but this is the one that really helped me because not only did I have this restriction on my phone, I've downloaded an internet filter. So for me, it's Covenant Eyes, but there's a lot of them out there. Covenant Eyes monitors my web activity as well and sends an email to my wife, to my boss. I set that up with my boss as well. And that helps keep me accountable. Here's the catch. I could delete that if I wanted to, and then they wouldn't be getting those reports anymore. So I went to this setting, iTunes and App Store purchases, and I said, okay, don't allow me to delete apps. Okay. Also, it's going to be tempting to download another app that you might find you can get around something with. Okay. So I don't allow the installing of apps and don't allow the deleting of apps. It's not that I can't delete an app. It's not that I can't install an app, but the only way that I can access the App Store or even deleting an app is if I go in here and change that setting. And the only way to change that setting is if my wife puts in the passcode or your accountability partner puts in the passcode, okay? You could access anything on the internet that's safe. You just have to make sure that it's something that your accountability partner has access to, has knowledge of, and has allowed you specifically to do that, okay? Because if you wanted to go visit a porn site or if you wanted to go visit something that was just really suggestive and you shouldn't, you'd have to ask them, and that'd be a really awkward conversation. So that's going to limit that. And while it's restricted, you can't access that at all on your phone. So always require the passcode. Installing apps don't allow. Deleting apps don't allow. In-app purchases, up to you. There's a video game addiction that I had for a while, and so I would turn off in-app purchases because it just got really dangerous for me. So that's how I would recommend setting up restrictions on an iPhone. Now, the reality is most people have Android phones. As much as I love my iPhone, I know there's a lot of people with Android phones, and I actually helped one of my students set up these restrictions on his Android phone. Okay, so I want to show you how to set up restrictions on your Android phone. In order to do this, both the accountability partner and you are going to need this app. It's called the Google Family Link. Okay, Google Family Link. And on the Android phone, it's the app that's going to allow one phone to control the settings of another phone. Okay. In a similar way, there's going to be this, you got to help me set up these settings. I got to check in with you in order to change a setting. On the iPhone, it's all in one spot, but on an Android phone, you can do that. One person is the app that controls the settings on the other phone. Okay. So Google Family Link. So when you go to set it up, you're going to set the setting that your phone is the child or teen's phone, and your accountability partner, when they have the app, their phone is the parent phone. Okay, does that make sense? And so, all right, so we're starting with your accountability partner's phone. This is not your phone now. This is your accountability partner's phone. But when they log into it, this obviously I'm already the what's called the family manager. But between me and my student, this is who I am. And so they have an account. Yes, they do. We signed into it. Now, and go into the next steps. Select your child's Google account, or in your case, your Google account. You're going to select your Google account. Obviously, sign up the other accounts. Parent account, so your accountability partner is still on their phone. They're just going to sign in here. Welcome, blah, blah, blah. Sign in, two-step verification. Checking the account. Yep, and supervision. You can control location settings, limit screen time, obviously manage all the controls and whatnot. Okay. Scroll down, sign in. Family Link Manager is what you can do. You're going to want, again, the accountability partner is going to need to come up with a passcode that they know that you don't know. They can do all these things here. So once they've selected your account that they're going to be managing, they're going to start linking the accounts, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so once you've signed into yours and you've invited them and they've signed into theirs and they've selected you as person who's going to be monitored, then what this will be on your accountability partner's phone, it's going to show up like this, and they can monitor all these apps and select what they're rated for, and how much content access you have. Is it for 3+, is it 5+, 7+, whatever, so on and so forth. So you're going to check those. You're going to monitor. Yep, I'm going to monitor all these things. Here's what I can do. You can manage your filters and settings. You can manage all that. So, okay. Boom. Now, this is where you're going to pull out your phone and get your child's device, open the settings, go to Google Parental Controls, go to People, Parental Controls, if it's a Chromebook, because you can do this on the Chromebook, and then follow the steps to set up parental controls. Once you're done, tap Finished. Okay. Here's where it shows up in Google Family Link in a very similar way to the screen time settings on the iPhone. It's going to show up like this, settings, and I'm going to, you can scroll down and see all these things. What I'm going to do right up at the top here, though, is I'm going to hit Manage Settings, and you can manage the content restrictions. Here's where it shows up here, okay? Again, Google Chrome, Google Search, especially those two, but definitely I would even consider YouTube, because that's the source of a lot of temptation. Google Play with all the apps and whatnot. In all these, you're going to want to dial in the restrictions, but let's just, for example, look at Google Chrome, okay? Got the Google Chrome settings here. This is going to be very similar to the content restrictions in the iPhone screen time settings. This is where it starts to be similar. And again, it's going to be pretty basic. You can try to block explicit sites. Here's a catch with that, though, and I would recommend not doing this if you're really trying to be serious about blocking any explicit sites at all from your phone, because when it says limit adult content or block explicit site, try to block explicit sites, what's going to happen is it's got an algorithm that notices certain things and it's going to try to filter those out. But there's so many new porn sites being put out there all the time that it just can't catch everything. So you can definitely try to block explicit sites, and you can go in and add a website. You're like, this one has problems, this one has problems with me, this one has problems. Let's add these. What I would recommend, though, is actually go back and select only allow approved sites. So what you've done is you've blacklisted the entire internet, and you're only whitelisting the sites that you need, kind of like what we talked about with the iPhone, okay? So I don't need to go through that again, but again, you hit Manage Sites. You can go in, manage approved sites. These are always good. Manage block sites as well. And so that's what I would recommend. Add a website under, these are the only approved websites, okay? So only allow approved sites. That's the setting I would recommend. Go around and play around with the settings as well. that's what my recommendation would be. If you got any more questions, drop it in the comments. I'd love to chat with you about this. I've been helping guys try to get free from pornography for a number of years now, of coaching in a coaching program, and I've seen a lot of success. I've heard a lot of excuses. I've walked through a lot of difficulties, just people just don't know what to do. And I just love helping guys find freedom, guys and girls. So if you got any questions, just drop them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer. Take hope, take action. You can do this, but you got to do this. You got to do this. I can give you all the information, and if you never do anything, it's pointless. Information without implementation is completely useless. So grab an accountability partner, take hope, and take action.